Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. News from the red zone in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as the Soufriere Volcano continues its explosive actions and pledges to raise much needed funds for that country's recovery. Our feature today surrounds coverage of the Soufriere Volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in our 1096th edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 22nd April 2021. Details after this break.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. It has been several days since La Soufriere first erupted. However, countless warnings later, and even with a threat of possible arrest, some villagers, though few in number, refused to evacuate the red zone. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves isn't turning a blind eye. In fact, he reaffirms that if anyone wants to leave, the authorities would get them out. TV6's reporter Alicia Boucher is in St. Vincent and visited the red zone to bring you this story.
Entire villages blanketed in ash, rendering them desolate. Any movement, even the simplest in nature, sets off a sandstorm of sorts. Many who inhabited these areas, now labeled as the red zone, can hardly recognize their once lush green surroundings, bearing a reminder of the power of La Soufriere, which volcanologists say has only unleashed part of her potential ability. Her moments of quiet aren't being taken for granted, as activity is anticipated to last months. All infrastructure, electricity, water, mobile service, transportation have all been removed from these areas. Authorities are clearing this roadway here at Sandy Beach. There are 3 villages beyond, Point, Oya, and Fancy, and from what we're told, there are other blockages along the way. So if there are residents in those villages right now, they are going to have to go to a jetty in order to be able to get out via the Coast Guard and other responder agencies at this time. It was said that persons refusing to leave the red zone would be arrested. Have you had any such instances, or are you getting compliance from residents?
I would say that from the information coming to us, 99% of the people who are supposed to leave have left. We have gone for everybody, even right now. Anybody who is up there who wants to come out, I will send the Coast Guard for them to get to Oya, where we have built a jetty. I don't know if we're going to be able to reach to Oya, and we can get you. We'll be able to get you out. And on the leeward side, we can take you where, which is the Caribbean side, where you have more ports, where you can get in easily because the sea is calmer. We'll take you out. We are not abandoning any of our people. Absolutely not. And we have sent our Coast Guard, even the worst time since this eruption, for those who had been reluctant to leave for one reason or the other, to get them. And the record shows that. And you had raised other security issues, other security concerns in terms of persons engaging in activities that they're not supposed to. Since you issued that warning, I would say that you issued, have you noticed a change? What is the report from police? Look, human beings, if you have scarce resources, and human beings want to live, wherever they are, in relation to survival, they will compete. Hey, brethren! They will compete for scarce resources, and therefore legal issues will arise, security issues will arise. We are grateful to the government of Trinidad and Tobago, who has sent 40 members of their defense force to us. the regional security system of which we are part, sent other police officers. And every morning, every evening, I get security reports from the Commissioner of Police. The report this morning is that everything was normal. Of course, you have dissonances and so on, but then not anything really connected to the volcanic activity.
Despite what might seem a narrow escape between life and death, and the constant warnings by authorities, including Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, there are those like Goodwin Augustus Oliver, familiarly called Gao, a Calypsonian and farmer who refused to leave.
But what I know, I'm telling you, you want to know, is this I know, this your meat hard to boil, eh? This your meat hard to boil. This your meat hard to boil, eh? This your meat hard to boil.
How long have you been planting Gao?
My friend. Huh?
How long have you been a farmer?
I'm a farmer since I finished school. When I finished school, the first work I worked is dig a root with iron hoe.
And I realize that you've stayed up here. Aren't you afraid?
No. Why I did not afraid? 79. When it blew, I was a young man. All of we was young men. Me and comrade and so was young men. So when it blew, I walked from home in Basin Hall to North Union Secondary School, and I abide there. I'm speaking
You went in the shelter.
After spending months upon months at the shelter, Gao returned home, only to find that some of his friends and fellow villagers had stayed and were safe and sound. And although seismologists suggest that Le Soufriere's behavior is much different from that of 42 years ago, Gao isn't worried.
For I move from me, you have to be lava and thing coming down. But when I lie down in the night, sleeping and thing between sleep and wake, my hair like little stone and sand drop on top of you. Hear me now? You know, right now.
But that only
Come rather than build me one weather house.
But you know that they say this volcano is actually more dangerous than the ones that you have lava coming out of.
79? What?
No, the type of volcano you have with pyroclastic flows.
Oh, this more dangerous than them who are on lava?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. well, while I'm in my house sleeping, I have on the radio, EMC, so here now. I put it on the radio whole night.
Because of his location, he's unlikely to be affected by pyroclastic activity, but the extremely heavy ashfall, which is in itself unhealthy to human life, can and has caused homes to cave in. Some residents are returning to the red zone to check on their properties and to collect more of their belongings. Presley Daniel, a resident from Oya, is one of them.
So when you went there, what did you find?
Fine is my the porch is broken down. My roof has a lot of ash on it. But everything does, gray. Everything does gray.
Are you staying in a shelter?
I'm staying at the Baptist Bible College. We have a Baptist Bible College at Prospect, and so that's in the initial planning. We said, okay, we'll make it available.
There is also animal life in the red zone. The animals too are in danger, not just from the ash that has covered everything in its path, but also from starvation.
What the Minister of Agriculture is doing. We have a list, a basic number of we have the number of the animals in the area. An inventory has been done. And we are, to the extent that the circumstances permit, we bring grass, the ministry's workers will bring grass and water into the area to try to keep the animals alive. It's been a terrible time for the animals in the first few days. Some have died, but thank God not as many as we would have expected, and we're trying to preserve the others bit by bit.
Prime Minister Gonsalves is in talks with entities such as the World Bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the United Nations through the Global Fund Appeal.
The IMF too, and we are working with other governments across the world, including US, Canada, Britain, European Union, and countries further afield in Asia, Republic of China, Taiwan.
At this time, resources for relief and reconstruction are needed. Dr. Gonzalez estimates that it would take hundreds of millions of dollars to restore the country to what it was before La Soufriere's fury. Reporting from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
The Director General of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States says St. Vincent and the Grenadines needs, at this time, US $100 million in cash to help it recover from damage being caused by the Soufriere Volcano. Joel Brown of TV6 News has some details.
As the United Nations launched a $29.2 million global appeal fund on Monday to assist citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines affected by the major eruptions of the Soufriere Volcano.
I just want everyone to know that while we have been, over the last 45 minutes or thereabouts, we have been getting bouts of shaking of this building, indicating that there's some earthquake movements which are affecting us. I think. Did you feel them? Did you? Did you feel the shaking?
A little bit.
You felt it a little bit.
That was the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, who was joined at the head table by UN officials for the event that took place in St. Vincent, which was also attended by members of the media there. Dr. Gonzalez had just minutes earlier made a plea to the international community.
We have pre-existing challenges. We have COVID. We have the volcanic eruptions and the looming Atlantic season, the hurricane season. You may say that that's a lot for us to bear. We can bear it with your help.
And a preliminary estimate of how much financial help would be required was provided by Dr. Didacus Jules, the Director General of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS.
Nothing less than a cash response of $100 million is necessary in this time, and that is why we've set this as our target.
Dr. Gonzalez said platforms for financial donations from bodies such as the OECS are approved by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
I just want to caution that those who are giving, unless you are sure that that entity has been authorized by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that you have available to you other avenues like this platform of the United Nations, this global appeal which we are making.
But TV6 News posed a question to the panel as to what measures are in place to ensure that money being donated towards the relief effort in St. Vincent and the Grenadines goes where it is intended.
All monies coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the Accountant General are subjected to the Finance Administration Act. Any monies go to the offices of our missions overseas are subject to the Finance Administration Act.
He said he informed the opposition leader of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that a supplementary bill is to be debated in the parliament there on May 11th.
So our processes, our internal democratic and accountability processes would be at work, because we cannot spend more than a certain amount of money by way of special warrants, executive action, without it being specifically approved by the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So my brother Brown from Trinidad, these are matters which are subject to our own legislative framework.
With regard to UN funding, Prime Minister Gonzalez then suggested the United Nations resident coordinator also respond to the question posed by TV6 News.
Thank you for this question. That's indeed a very, very important one, and I can assure that the UN will follow its whole accountability standards and transparency standards to report on a regular basis on how the resources that will be channeled for implementation through the various UN agencies will be implemented, as is currently done in terms of the ongoing deployment.
Joel Brown, TV6 News.
am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.